Imagine a city where the sun rises with whispers of myths and legends, where every cobblestone tells a story of valor and sacrifice. This is Athens, cradle of civilization, where the heartbeat of its people resonates with a fierce pride tempered by the ever-present shadow of Crete. Nestled beneath the azure sky and crowned by the majestic Acropolis, Athens bustles with life. Its streets, a labyrinth of commerce and culture, echo with the laughter of children chasing wooden hoops and the clink of potters molding clay into shapes that defy the imagination. Here, the aroma of freshly baked bread mingles with the scent of olive trees that stand as silent sentinels to a history written in stone. But amidst this vibrant tapestry lies a somber undertone, the looming threat of Crete. For years, Athens has borne the heavy yoke imposed by King Minos, ruler of the distant island realm. Each year, as summer wanes and the grapes ripen on the vine, Athens must pay tribute to Crete. Not in gold or silver, but in flesh and blood. It is a tribute steeped in sorrow and fear, for the lottery is merciless. From the fairest youths of Athens, 7 maidens and 7 young men are chosen by the cruel hand of fate. Their fate sealed, they embark on a journey not of their choosing, torn from the warm embrace of family and friends. Tears stain the cheeks of mothers bidding farewell to sons, while fathers clasp their daughters' hands with a silent promise of return. Among the crowds that gather in the agora, there is an air of resignation tinged with defiance. Faces once alight with joy are now shadowed with the weight of impending loss. Yet, even in the face of despair, there is a flicker of hope, a whispered belief that perhaps, one day, someone will rise to defy the darkness that threatens to engulf their beloved city. It is within this crucible of emotions that the story of Athens unfolds, where the heroism of one will echo through the annals of time. For in the heart of the city dwells a young man named Theseus, son of Aegeus, whose fate is entwined with the destiny of Athens itself. Though not yet known to his father, Theseus embodies the spirit of his people, a spirit forged in the crucible of hardship and adversity. Tall and strong, with a countenance that reflects both the laughter of youth and the steely resolve of a warrior, Theseus moves through the city with a quiet determination. His hands, calloused from years spent tending to the fields and training with seasoned warriors, bear the marks of his humble origins. Yet his eyes, deep and searching, harbor a fire that burns brighter than the sun that kisses the rooftops of Athens. In the shadow of the Acropolis, where the marble pillars stand as silent witnesses to the ebb and flow of generations, Theseus finds solace. Here, amid the whispers of the past and the promise of tomorrow, he ponders the fate that awaits his brethren. He listens to the tales of heroes who once walked the streets of Athens, of Perseus and Heracles, whose names are etched in the very stones upon which he stands. But it is not just the legends of old that stir Theseus' heart. It is the cries of mothers and the prayers of fathers, the laughter of children and the whispers of lovers bidding farewell. It is the spirit of Athens itself, a spirit that refuses to be cowed by the looming shadow of Crete. For Athens is not merely a city of stone and marble, it is a living, breathing testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And so, as the day of tribute draws near and the air grows heavy with anticipation, Theseus stands at the precipice of destiny. His heart beats with a rhythm that echoes through the labyrinthine alleys and winding streets of Athens, a rhythm that calls him to embrace his fate with courage and conviction. For he knows that within the labyrinth of the Minotaur lies not just a monstrous beast, but the key to freeing his people from the chains of fear and despair. As the sun sets on the eve of departure, Theseus stands before the assembled multitude. His voice, strong and clear, carries across the agora, weaving a tapestry of hope and determination. He speaks not just for himself, but for every soul who has ever looked upon the distant shores of Crete with dread. My fellow Athenians, he begins, his words ringing out like a clarion call, today we face a trial that has tested our spirit for too long. But fear not, for I shall go forth to Crete not as a sacrifice, but as a beacon of hope. Together, we shall defy the darkness that threatens to consume us. For Athens. And as his words echo through the hearts of his people, Theseus feels a swell of emotion that transcends fear and doubt. It is the realization that within each of them lies the power to shape their own destiny, to defy the shadows that seek to snuff out their light. Thus, beneath the gaze of the Acropolis and the watchful eyes of gods and mortals alike, Theseus embarks on a journey that will test not just his strength, but his very soul. For he carries with him the hopes and dreams of an entire city, a city whose spirit burns bright against the looming threat of Crete. In the ancient kingdom of Athens, where the olive trees whispered tales of gods and heroes, there reigned a king whose heart bore the weight of a prophecy. Aegeus, ruler of this storied land, was a man of noble lineage and steadfast resolve, yet his brow often furrowed with worry. For within the walls of his palace, whispers of a curse haunted his every step, a curse that threatened not just his own lineage, but the very fabric of Athenian society. It began with a dream, as many prophecies often do. Aegeus, weary from the burdens of rule, sought solace in the quiet of his chambers. There, amidst flickering torchlight and the scent of laurel leaves, Morpheus, the god of dreams, visited him. In visions that danced between shadow and light, Morpheus foretold of a union that would bring both joy and sorrow to the heart of the king, a union with consequences that would echo through the ages. In the dream, Aegeus beheld the image of a radiant maiden, fair as the dawn and blessed by the gods. She bore upon her brow the mark of destiny, a crown of stars that shimmered with an otherworldly light. From her womb, Morpheus whispered, would spring forth a son of divine lineage, a son whose fate would be entwined with the destiny of Athens itself. But intertwined with this prophecy was a dire warning, a warning that chilled Aegeus to the core. For the son born of this union, Morpheus proclaimed, would face trials that would test his courage and his resolve. He would confront monsters that lurked in the shadows of forgotten realms, and his journey would lead him down paths fraught with danger and despair. And at the heart of these trials stood a beast of myth and legend, a beast whose hunger for blood knew no bounds. Thus, Aegeus found himself ensnared in the web of fate, grappling with the knowledge that his actions would shape not just his own legacy, but the fate of his beloved city. And so, driven by a sense of duty and a father's love, he sought to safeguard the future of Athens from the looming threat that Morpheus had revealed. It was in this crucible of uncertainty that Aegeus made a pact born of desperation and hope. He vowed that should the prophecy come to pass, he would protect his son at any cost. And to seal this oath, he entrusted to the care of the gods a sword of unmatched craftsmanship, a sword that bore upon its hilt the mark of his lineage and the promise of a future yet unwritten. But fate, as it often does, moves in mysterious ways. For Aegeus soon learned of another threat that loomed on the horizon, a threat that struck fear into the hearts of Athenians for generations. From the distant shores of Crete, ruled by the enigmatic King Minos, came whispers of a labyrinthine maze that housed a creature both man and beast, a creature whose hunger for human flesh knew no bounds. Legend spoke of the Minotaur, born of a cursed union between Minos' wife, Queen Pasiphae, and a bull gifted by the gods themselves. Imprisoned within the labyrinth, the Minotaur awaited its annual tribute, a tribute demanded by King Minos as recompense for a grievous offense long past. And so, each year, Athens was forced to send forth its finest youths as offerings to quench the beast's insatiable hunger. The lottery, held with solemnity and dread, chose the fates of 14 young souls, 7 maidens and 7 young men. They were chosen not for their flaws or their failings, but for their youth and their innocence, a cruel reminder of the cost of appeasing the wrath of Crete. And as they bid tearful farewells to their loved ones, their hearts heavy with sorrow and fear, Athens mourned the loss of its brightest stars. But amidst the tears and the anguish, there burned a flicker of defiance, a spark of hope that refused to be extinguished. For within the walls of the palace, Aegeus, haunted by the weight of prophecy and the specter of the Minotaur, resolved to defy the darkness that threatened to engulf his kingdom. With every beat of his heart and every breath he drew, he vowed to protect his people from the horrors that lurked beyond their borders. And so, as the sun set upon Athens and cast its golden hues upon the marble pillars of the Acropolis, Aegeus stood as a beacon of hope, a king whose courage matched the strength of his resolve. For he knew that within the labyrinth of the Minotaur lay not just a beast, but the key to unlocking the secrets of his own destiny. And as the winds whispered through the olive groves and the stars painted patterns upon the canvas of the night sky, Aegeus bowed his head in silent prayer. To the gods above, he pledged his allegiance and his unwavering faith. For he knew that the road ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty, but he would face it with a father's love and a king's determination. For Aegeus, ruler of Athens, knew that the fate of his city and the future of his son were intertwined, a tapestry woven with threads of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of a people who refused to surrender to the darkness. In the heart of ancient Athens, where the sun bathed the city in golden hues and the laughter of children echoed through its winding streets, there lived a young man named Theseus. His origins, however, were shrouded in mystery, known only to a few who whispered of a prophecy and a union that defied the gods themselves. Theseus grew up amid the bustling agora, where merchants hawked their wares and storytellers spun tales of heroes and monsters. Tall and strong, with the sun-kissed skin of a laborer and eyes that mirrored the depths of the Aegean Sea, Theseus possessed a spirit that burned brighter than the torches that illuminated the city at night. Yet, beneath his outward strength lay a longing, a yearning to uncover the truth of his lineage and the mysteries that bound him to the fate of Athens. Raised by his mother, Aethra, in the shadow of the Acropolis, Theseus knew little of his father save for the tales whispered by the elders. They spoke of Aegeus, the revered king of Athens whose name carried the weight of responsibility and the echoes of a troubled past. They spoke, too, of a prophecy that foretold Aegeus' union with a woman of divine lineage, a union that would bring forth a son destined to shape the future of Athens. But as Theseus grew from boyhood into manhood, his heart yearned for more than whispers and shadows. He longed to stand before Aegeus, to look into the eyes of the man who bore the weight of a kingdom upon his shoulders, and to know the truth that lay buried beneath the layers of secrecy and silence. It was in the heat of summer, when the grapes ripened on the vine and the air shimmered with the promise of tomorrow, that fate intervened. Theseus, driven by a restless spirit and a desire to uncover the truth of his heritage, set out on a journey that would lead him to the heart of Athens itself. With each step, he felt the weight of anticipation and uncertainty, yet his determination never faltered. Upon reaching the palace gates, guarded by sentinels whose armor gleamed in the midday sun, Theseus stood tall and resolute. His heart pounded within his chest as he announced his presence, his voice echoing through the marble corridors that bore witness to the ebb and flow of generations past. And there, amidst the whispers of courtiers and the watchful gaze of servants, Aegeus emerged from the shadows, a king whose brow bore the furrows of wisdom and the lines of a life well lived. Their eyes met, a son's gaze meeting his father's for the first time. In that moment, the air crackled with electricity, as though the gods themselves held their breath in anticipation of what was to come. Aegeus, his voice steady yet tinged with emotion, spoke the words that would forever change Theseus' fate. "You bear upon your brow the mark of your lineage," Aegeus began, his voice carrying the weight of centuries-old prophecy. "A mark that signifies your destiny and the legacy that binds us together." And as Aegeus spoke of the dreams that had haunted him, of Morpheus' visions and the union that defied the gods, Theseus listened with a heart that swelled with pride and wonder. For in that moment, he realized that he was more than just a son of Athens, he was a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring spirit of his people. But amidst the joy of reunion, there lingered a shadow cast by the annual tribute to Crete and the looming threat of the Minotaur. Aegeus, burdened by the weight of responsibility and the specter of prophecy, sought to shield Theseus from the dangers that lurked beyond their borders. Yet Theseus, fueled by a sense of duty and a desire to protect his newfound family, vowed to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf Athens. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast its last rays upon the city that had shaped him, Theseus stood before Aegeus as a son and as a warrior. His heart, once adrift in a sea of uncertainty, now beat with a rhythm that echoed through the ages, a rhythm of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of a hero destined to carve his name into the annals of history. For Theseus, son of Aegeus and champion of Athens, knew that his journey had only just begun, a journey that would lead him into the depths of the Labyrinth, where the Minotaur awaited and the fate of his people hung in the balance. And as he gazed upon the city that had raised him and the father who had embraced him, Theseus knew that he would face the trials ahead with a heart unburdened by fear and a spirit forged in the fires of ancient prophecy. In the heart of ancient Athens, where legends were born and heroes walked among mortals, Theseus stood as a testament to the power of destiny and the enduring bond between father and son. And as the stars painted patterns upon the canvas of the night sky, Theseus knew that he would honor his lineage, protect his city, and confront the challenges that awaited him with a courage that would echo through the ages. In the sun-drenched lands beyond Athens, where the road winds like a ribbon through fields of golden wheat and olive groves whisper secrets to the wind, Theseus embarked on a journey that would shape his destiny. His heart, heavy with the weight of revelation and the promise of reunion, beat with a rhythm that echoed through the hills and valleys of his homeland. With each step, Theseus felt the pull of the unknown, a yearning to uncover the truths that lay hidden within the tapestry of his past. His path meandered through villages where elders gathered beneath the shade of ancient oaks, their voices carrying tales of gods and heroes whose deeds had carved their names into the annals of history. They spoke, too, of a king whose gaze held the wisdom of ages, a king whose blood coursed through Theseus' veins. Yet, amidst the whispers of prophecy and the echoes of a distant past, Theseus found solace in the kindness of strangers. In humble cottages and bustling marketplaces, he encountered faces both familiar and foreign, faces that mirrored his own longing for connection and belonging. Their hospitality, offered without hesitation or expectation, touched Theseus' heart and reminded him of the bonds that unite all who walk beneath the gaze of the gods. But as the road stretched ever onward, Theseus encountered trials that tested not just his strength, but his very spirit. In the shadow of Mount Parnassus, where the air crackled with the scent of laurel leaves and the whispers of oracles lingered like a veil over the land, Theseus faced a band of bandits whose hearts were as dark as the caverns from which they emerged. With a courage born of desperation and a determination fueled by duty, Theseus confronted his adversaries with a resolve that belied his youth. The clash of steel against steel echoed through the hills, a symphony of bravery and defiance that resounded to the heavens themselves. With each strike, Theseus felt the weight of his lineage, the blood of Aegeus flowing through his veins, as he fought to protect not just his own life, but the lives of those who had shown him kindness along his journey. And as the bandits fell beneath his blade, Theseus knew that he had proven himself worthy of the legacy that awaited him in Athens. Yet, amidst the trials and tribulations of the road, Theseus also encountered moments of unexpected beauty and grace. In a small village nestled between the hills, he met a young woman whose eyes sparkled like the stars that adorned the night sky. Her laughter, like the bubbling of a mountain spring, echoed through the courtyard where they gathered beneath the glow of the moon. Her name was Phaedra, daughter of a humble shepherd, and her spirit was as free as the wind that danced through the fields. In her presence, Theseus found solace, a respite from the shadows that haunted his thoughts and a glimpse of the life he yearned to embrace. Together, they shared stories beneath the canopy of stars, weaving dreams of a future where love and laughter reigned supreme. But as the sun rose over the horizon and cast its golden light upon the village, Theseus knew that his journey could not linger in the embrace of fleeting moments. With a heavy heart and a promise to return, he bid farewell to Phaedra and set forth once more upon the road that led him ever closer to Athens. And so, with each passing day and each new adventure, Theseus drew nearer to his destination. Through fields ablaze with wildflowers and forests alive with the song of birds, he felt the pull of home, a beacon of hope that shone brightly against the backdrop of uncertainty. And as the road wound its way through the final stretches of Athenian countryside, Theseus' heart quickened with anticipation. For he knew that beyond the city walls lay not just his past, but his future, a future bound by duty, destiny, and the unyielding spirit of a hero whose name would echo through the ages. And as Athens loomed on the horizon, Theseus felt a surge of pride and determination that burned brighter than the sun that kissed the rooftops of his beloved city. In the heart of Athens, where the Acropolis stood as a silent sentinel to the trials and triumphs of generations past, Theseus stood tall and resolute. His journey, though fraught with peril and uncertainty, had brought him to the threshold of greatness, a greatness that awaited him within the walls of the palace where his father, Aegeus, ruled as king. And as Theseus gazed upon the city that had shaped him and the people who had welcomed him into their midst, he knew that his journey was far from over. For destiny awaited him with open arms, and the road that lay ahead was paved with challenges that would test his courage, his strength, and his unwavering resolve. But Theseus, son of Aegeus and champion of Athens, stood ready to face whatever trials awaited him. With a heart full of hope and a spirit forged in the fires of adversity, he took his first steps into the embrace of his destiny. A destiny that would carry him into legend and forever etch his name into the annals of history. In the heart of Athens, where the marble pillars of the Acropolis gleamed under the midday sun and the bustling agora echoed with the voices of its people, Theseus arrived. A figure cloaked in the shadows of prophecy and the whispers of ancient tales. His journey, a tapestry woven with trials and triumphs, had brought him to the threshold of his destiny. As Theseus entered the city gates, the air crackled with anticipation, a palpable energy that swept through the streets like a gathering storm. Mothers paused in their daily tasks, their hands stilling upon looms and cooking pots, as they caught sight of the young man whose presence bore the weight of both mystery and promise. Children, wide-eyed with wonder, trailed in his wake like leaves caught in a gentle breeze, drawn by the aura of courage and determination that seemed to emanate from his very being. For Theseus, every step carried with it the echoes of his journey, a journey that had led him through fields of golden wheat and forests alive with the song of birds. Along the way, he had faced bandits whose hearts were as dark as the shadows they emerged from, and he had encountered moments of unexpected beauty and grace in the embrace of strangers whose kindness knew no bounds. But as Theseus made his way through the winding streets of Athens, he felt a tug at his heart, a yearning to uncover the truths that lay buried within the city's storied past. His thoughts turned to Aegeus, the father he had only just met, whose voice echoed through the corridors of the palace like a clarion call. With each passing moment, Theseus drew nearer to the moment of reunion, a reunion that held the promise of answers long sought and bonds newly forged. And so, beneath the gaze of the Acropolis and the watchful eyes of its ancient gods, Theseus stood before the palace gates. His heart, once adrift in a sea of uncertainty, now beat with a rhythm that echoed through the ages, a rhythm of hope, courage, and the unyielding spirit of a hero destined to carve his name into the annals of history. Inside the palace, Aegeus awaited, the weight of responsibility etched upon his brow and the echoes of prophecy ringing in his ears. For years, he had carried the burden of a kingdom upon his shoulders, navigating the delicate balance between duty and desire, between the shadows of the past and the promise of the future. And now, as Theseus stood before him, Aegeus felt a swell of emotion, a father's pride mingled with a sense of awe at the man his son had become. Their eyes met, a son's gaze meeting his father's for the first time. In that moment, the air crackled with electricity, as though the gods themselves held their breath in anticipation of what was to come. Aegeus, his voice steady yet tinged with emotion, spoke the words that would forever change Theseus' fate. "You bear upon your brow the mark of your lineage," Aegeus began, his voice carrying the weight of centuries-old prophecy. "A mark that signifies your destiny and the legacy that binds us together." And as Aegeus spoke of the dreams that had haunted him, of Morpheus' visions and the union that defied the gods, Theseus listened with a heart that swelled with pride and wonder. For in that moment, he realized that he was more than just a son of Athens, he was a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring spirit of his people. But amidst the joy of reunion, there lingered a shadow cast by the annual tribute to Crete and the looming threat of the Minotaur. Aegeus, burdened by the weight of responsibility and the specter of prophecy, sought to shield Theseus from the dangers that lurked beyond their borders. Yet Theseus, fueled by a sense of duty and a desire to protect his newfound family, vowed to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf Athens. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast its last rays upon the city that had shaped him, Theseus stood before Aegeus as a son and as a warrior. His heart, once adrift in a sea of uncertainty, now beat with a rhythm that echoed through the hills and valleys of his homeland, a rhythm of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of a hero destined to carve his name into the annals of history. For Theseus, son of Aegeus and champion of Athens, knew that his journey had only just begun, a journey that would lead him into the heart of the Labyrinth, where the Minotaur awaited and the fate of his people hung in the balance. And as he gazed upon the city that had raised him and the father who had embraced him, Theseus knew that he would face the trials ahead with a heart unburdened by fear and a spirit forged in the fires of ancient prophecy. In the heart of Athens, where legends were born and heroes walked among mortals, Theseus stood as a testament to the power of destiny and the enduring bond between father and son. And as the stars painted patterns upon the canvas of the night sky, Theseus knew that he would honor his lineage, protect his city, and confront the challenges that awaited him with a courage that would echo through the ages. In the labyrinthine halls of the palace of Knossos, where the scent of incense mingled with the salty breeze from the Aegean Sea, lived Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos of Crete. Her beauty, renowned throughout the land, was matched only by the kindness that radiated from her heart, a kindness that set her apart from the shadows that lurked within the labyrinth. From a young age, Ariadne had watched as youths from distant lands were led, trembling and tearful, into the heart of the labyrinth. There, amidst the twisting corridors and the echoes of ancient curses, they faced the Minotaur, a creature born of a curse that had haunted her family for generations. And though Ariadne was a princess, born into a life of privilege and power, her heart ached for the innocents whose lives were claimed by the beast's insatiable hunger. But amidst the darkness that clouded her father's court, Ariadne harbored a secret that set her apart from the cruelty that stained her family's legacy. For in the depths of her heart, she felt a sympathy, a connection, to the people of Athens, whose youths were offered as tribute to appease the wrath of King Minos and his monstrous offspring. It was during one fateful night, as the moon cast its silver glow upon the palace gardens, that Ariadne first caught sight of Theseus. He stood beneath the olive trees, his silhouette a stark contrast against the shimmering leaves, his eyes fixed upon the stars that dotted the night sky. And in that moment, Ariadne felt a stirring within her, a fluttering of hope and curiosity that threatened to bloom into something more. As Theseus turned to face her, their eyes locked, a meeting of souls that transcended the boundaries of duty and destiny. In his gaze, Ariadne saw the weight of a kingdom and the courage of a warrior whose heart beat in rhythm with her own. And though they hailed from worlds that seemed destined to collide, Ariadne felt a kinship, a shared understanding, that bound them together in ways neither could fully comprehend. In the days that followed, Ariadne sought out Theseus in the quiet moments between dawn and dusk. They walked together along the shores of the sea, where the waves whispered secrets of distant lands and untold adventures. They spoke of their hopes and fears, their dreams and aspirations, weaving a tapestry of words that bound their hearts closer with each passing day. For Theseus, Ariadne became more than a princess of Crete. She became a beacon of light in the darkness, a confidant whose compassion mirrored his own. And for Ariadne, Theseus embodied the courage and conviction that she had longed to see in those who walked the halls of her father's palace. Together, they forged a bond that defied the expectations of their respective worlds and dared to challenge the fate that had been woven for them since birth. But amidst the fragile beauty of their burgeoning connection, Ariadne wrestled with the knowledge of her father's wrath and the shadow of the Minotaur that loomed over their lives. She knew that King Minos, driven by pride and the thirst for power, would never willingly relinquish his hold over the Athenian youths who were sent to their doom. And yet, she could not ignore the stirring within her, a stirring that whispered of compassion and the possibility of change. And so, as the days stretched into weeks and the bond between Theseus and Ariadne deepened, she made a decision born of love and fueled by a desire to defy the darkness that threatened to consume them all. With a heart heavy with resolve, Ariadne sought an audience with her father, King Minos, a man whose wrath was as fierce as the storms that battered the shores of Crete. In the opulent halls of the palace, where tapestries depicted scenes of conquest and triumph, Ariadne stood before her father. Her voice, though trembling with fear, rang out with a clarity that echoed through the chamber, a plea for mercy, for compassion, for a future where bloodshed and sacrifice were not the price of power. But King Minos, his eyes ablaze with fury and pride, dismissed her words with a wave of his hand. To him, the tributes from Athens were a testament to his authority, a demonstration of his dominion over both land and sea. And though Ariadne pleaded with him, her heart breaking with each word that fell upon deaf ears, she knew that she alone could not sway the heart of a king whose thirst for power knew no bounds. Yet amidst the despair that threatened to consume her, Ariadne found solace in the unwavering strength of Theseus. Together, they devised a plan, a daring scheme that would test their courage and their love, and challenge the fate that had bound them since birth. With a heart full of hope and a resolve forged in the fires of adversity, Ariadne stood by Theseus' side as he prepared to confront the Minotaur, a creature whose hunger for human flesh had terrorized both Athens and Crete for generations. And as Theseus descended into the depths of the labyrinth, armed with nothing but his courage and the love that bound him to Ariadne, she watched from afar, a silent sentinel in a world torn between duty and desire. Her heart, though heavy with fear and uncertainty, beat in rhythm with his, a rhythm of hope, of sacrifice, and of the unyielding spirit that had brought them together against all odds. For Ariadne, daughter of King Minos and princess of Crete, knew that her destiny was intertwined with Theseus, a destiny that would lead them both into the heart of darkness, where the Minotaur waited and the fate of their people hung in the balance. And as she gazed upon the labyrinth that loomed before her, Ariadne vowed to stand by Theseus' side. Together, they would defy the shadows that threatened to engulf them, and forge a future where love and compassion reigned supreme. In the labyrinthine halls of the palace of Knossos, where the scent of incense mingled with the salty breeze from the Aegean Sea, lived Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos of Crete. Her beauty, renowned throughout the land, was matched only by the kindness that radiated from her heart, a kindness that set her apart from the shadows that lurked within the labyrinth. From a young age, Ariadne had watched as youths from distant lands were led, trembling and tearful, into the heart of the labyrinth. There, amidst the twisting corridors and the echoes of ancient curses, they faced the Minotaur, a creature born of a curse that had haunted her family for generations. And though Ariadne was a princess, born into a life of privilege and power, her heart ached for the innocents whose lives were claimed by the beast's insatiable hunger. But amidst the darkness that clouded her father's court, Ariadne harbored a secret that set her apart from the cruelty that stained her family's legacy. For in the depths of her heart, she felt a sympathy, a connection, to the people of Athens, whose youths were offered as tribute to appease the wrath of King Minos and his monstrous offspring. It was during one fateful night, as the moon cast its silver glow upon the palace gardens, that Ariadne first caught sight of Theseus. He stood beneath the olive trees, his silhouette a stark contrast against the shimmering leaves, his eyes fixed upon the stars that dotted the night sky. And in that moment, Ariadne felt a stirring within her, a fluttering of hope and curiosity that threatened to bloom into something more. As Theseus turned to face her, their eyes locked, a meeting of souls that transcended the boundaries of duty and destiny. In his gaze, Ariadne saw the weight of a kingdom and the courage of a warrior whose heart beat in rhythm with her own. And though they hailed from worlds that seemed destined to collide, Ariadne felt a kinship, a shared understanding, that bound them together in ways neither could fully comprehend. In the days that followed, Ariadne sought out Theseus in the quiet moments between dawn and dusk. They walked together along the shores of the sea, where the waves whispered secrets of distant lands and untold adventures. They spoke of their hopes and fears, their dreams and aspirations, weaving a tapestry of words that bound their hearts closer with each passing day. For Theseus, Ariadne became more than a princess of Crete. She became a beacon of light in the darkness, a confidant whose compassion mirrored his own. And for Ariadne, Theseus embodied the courage and conviction that she had longed to see in those who walked the halls of her father's palace. Together, they forged a bond that defied the expectations of their respective worlds and dared to challenge the fate that had been woven for them since birth. But amidst the fragile beauty of their burgeoning connection, Ariadne wrestled with the knowledge of her father's wrath and the shadow of the Minotaur that loomed over their lives. She knew that King Minos, driven by pride and the thirst for power, would never willingly relinquish his hold over the Athenian youths who were sent to their doom. And yet, she could not ignore the stirring within her, a stirring that whispered of compassion and the possibility of change. And so, as the days stretched into weeks and the bond between Theseus and Ariadne deepened, she made a decision born of love and fueled by a desire to defy the darkness that threatened to consume them all. With a heart heavy with resolve, Ariadne sought an audience with her father, King Minos, a man whose wrath was as fierce as the storms that battered the shores of Crete. In the ancient city of Athens, where the marble pillars of the Acropolis gleamed under the golden sun and the bustling agora hummed with the voices of its people, a shadow loomed over the hearts of its citizens. Each year, as the days grew longer and the fields bloomed with the promise of summer, a solemn ritual unfolded, a ritual that struck fear into the hearts of mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. For it was during these days that Athens prepared to send its youths as tribute to Crete, a grim offering to appease the wrath of King Minos and his monstrous son, the Minotaur. The air crackled with tension, heavy with the weight of sorrow and despair that hung like a pall over the city. Yet amidst the whispers of grief and the tears that stained cheeks, there arose a hero, a figure whose courage and determination would forever alter the course of history. His name was Theseus, son of Aegeus, and from the moment he heard the chilling decree that echoed through the city streets, he knew that he could not stand idly by. As he watched the mothers clutch their children close, their eyes haunted by the specter of loss, Theseus felt a fire ignite within his chest, a fire fueled by a sense of duty, by compassion, and by a steadfast resolve to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf his beloved city. In the quiet hours before dawn, Theseus stood before the marble steps of the Acropolis, a lone figure silhouetted against the backdrop of the rising sun. His gaze, fixed upon the horizon where Crete lay hidden beyond the azure sea, bore the weight of a decision that would shape his destiny. For in his heart, Theseus knew that he could not allow another year to pass without taking action, without standing in defiance of the fate that had claimed so many of Athens' sons and daughters. And so, with a determination that burned brighter than the midday sun, Theseus sought an audience with his father, King Aegeus. In the hallowed halls of the palace, where the tapestries told tales of gods and heroes whose deeds had echoed through the ages, Theseus stood before Aegeus, a king whose brow was furrowed with worry and whose eyes reflected the weight of centuries-old prophecy. "Father," Theseus began, his voice steady yet tinged with emotion, "I cannot stand by while our youths are sent to their doom. I cannot bear the thought of another year passing without taking action." Aegeus, his gaze fixed upon his son with a mixture of pride and apprehension, listened as Theseus spoke of his plan, a plan to confront the Minotaur, to defy the will of King Minos, and to bring an end to the cycle of sorrow that had plagued Athens for too long. Though Aegeus, burdened by the weight of responsibility and the specter of prophecy, feared for Theseus' safety, he also saw in his son a courage and conviction that mirrored his own. "My son," Aegeus replied, his voice echoing through the chamber like the tolling of a bell, "you carry within you the blood of kings and the spirit of heroes. But know that the road you choose is fraught with peril, a path that may lead to darkness as well as light." Yet Theseus, undeterred by the shadows that lay ahead, stood firm in his resolve. For in his heart, he carried not just the weight of duty, but a love for his people, a love that burned like a beacon in the darkness, guiding him forward through the trials that awaited him. And so, as the days turned to weeks and the preparations for the tribute to Crete unfolded, Theseus made his decision known to the people of Athens. With each proclamation that echoed through the city squares and alleyways, hope flickered to life, a spark of defiance that spread like wildfire through the hearts of its citizens. Mothers and fathers, their faces etched with lines of worry and determination, embraced their children with renewed fervor. Brothers and sisters, bound by bonds of love and loyalty, stood shoulder to shoulder in solidarity with Theseus and his quest. And amidst the clamor of preparation, the sharpening of swords, the crafting of armor, and the prayers whispered to the gods, Athens prepared to send forth its champion, its hero, into the jaws of the labyrinth. For Theseus, son of Aegeus and champion of Athens, knew that the time had come to confront the darkness that lurked beyond the horizon. With a heart heavy with the weight of responsibility and a spirit forged in the fires of adversity, he stood upon the shores of Athens, a figure silhouetted against the backdrop of the azure sea, where Crete lay hidden beneath the veil of uncertainty. And as the ships prepared to set sail, bearing Theseus and the other youths towards their fate, the city of Athens held its breath. For they knew that their champion carried with him not just their hopes and dreams, but the collective spirit of a people determined to defy the shadows of despair and forge a future where courage and compassion reigned supreme. In the hushed stillness of the moonlit night, where the stars painted patterns upon the tapestry of the heavens and the scent of jasmine hung heavy in the air, Theseus stood before the gates of the labyrinth. Beside him, bathed in the silvery glow of the moon, stood Ariadne, the princess whose heart beat in rhythm with his own, whose kindness had softened the edges of his resolve, and whose courage now offered him a lifeline in the face of uncertainty. Their journey had brought them to this pivotal moment, a moment steeped in both dread and determination. For nestled within the heart of the labyrinth lay the Minotaur, a creature of monstrous proportions whose hunger for human flesh had cast a shadow over both Athens and Crete for generations. And yet, amidst the darkness that threatened to engulf them, Theseus found solace in the presence of Ariadne, a beacon of light whose compassion and strength mirrored his own. As Ariadne stepped forward, her eyes reflecting the flickering torchlight that illuminated the labyrinth's entrance, she carried with her two gifts, a sword forged of tempered bronze and a ball of thread as fine as silk. Theseus, his gaze fixed upon the gleaming blade that glinted in the torchlight, felt a swell of gratitude wash over him. A gratitude for the princess whose belief in him had fueled his resolve and whose love had anchored him amidst the storm. "My champion," Ariadne spoke, her voice a whisper that carried on the breeze, "take this sword, forged in the fires of Hephaestus himself. Let it be your strength and your shield as you confront the darkness that lies ahead." With hand steady yet heart pounding, Theseus accepted the sword, a weapon whose weight felt both daunting and empowering. For in its polished surface, he saw not just a tool of war, but a symbol of the hope and determination that had guided him thus far. A hope that now burned brighter than the torches that flickered along the labyrinth's walls. But it was the second gift, the ball of thread, that held Theseus' attention, for within its delicate strands lay the key to navigating the labyrinth's treacherous corridors. Ariadne, her fingers deft as she unraveled the thread from its spool, spoke once more, her voice laced with a tenderness that spoke volumes of the bond they shared. "Take this thread, Theseus," she urged, her eyes locking with his in an unspoken vow, "for it will guide you through the labyrinth's twists and turns. Tie one end to the entrance and unravel it as you venture deeper into its depths. Let it be your lifeline, a thread that binds us together, even amidst the shadows." With reverence, Theseus accepted the ball of thread, a lifeline that held within its grasp not just the promise of escape, but a connection to Ariadne that transcended the confines of time and fate. As he wound the thread around his wrist, he felt the weight of her trust settle upon his shoulders, a trust that spurred him forward, even as the darkness threatened to consume him. And so, with the sword at his side and the thread in hand, Theseus stepped into the labyrinth, a hero whose footsteps echoed through the corridors with a rhythm that matched the pounding of his heart. The walls loomed tall around him, their ancient stones bearing witness to the trials of countless souls who had ventured into the Minotaur's domain. Yet with each step he took, Theseus felt a surge of determination, a determination to defy the odds, to confront the beast that lurked within the shadows, and to emerge victorious for the sake of Athens, for the sake of Ariadne, and for the sake of all who dared to dream of a future free from fear. Through winding passages and shadowed alcoves, Theseus followed the thread, a slender lifeline that whispered of hope amidst the silence of the labyrinth. The air grew thick with the scent of earth and musty decay, yet he pressed on, guided by the flickering light of his torch and the unwavering strength of Ariadne's gift. And as he ventured deeper into the labyrinth's heart, Theseus felt the presence of the Minotaur, a primal force that reverberated through the very stones beneath his feet. The creature's roars echoed through the darkness, a chilling reminder of the peril that awaited him at every turn. Yet with the sword gripped firmly in his hand and the thread unraveling steadily behind him, Theseus steeled himself against the fear that threatened to paralyze him. In moments that stretched into eternity, Theseus and the Minotaur clashed, a battle of wills and strength that shook the labyrinth to its ancient foundations. The sword flashed in the torchlight, its blade singing through the air as Theseus met the beast head-on. Each blow struck with a ferocity born of desperation and determination, each movement a testament to the courage that burned within his heart. But it was not just strength that fueled Theseus' resolve, it was the memory of Ariadne's kindness, the touch of her hand upon his own, and the bond that had forged between them amidst the trials and tribulations they had faced together. With each strike of the sword, he fought not just for his own survival, but for the hope of a future where compassion triumphed over cruelty, where love conquered fear, and where the threads of fate wove a tapestry of courage and redemption. And as the final blow fell, The Minotaur lay defeated, a testament to Theseus' courage and the strength of the bond he shared with Ariadne. With the creature's roar silenced and its reign of terror brought to an end, Theseus retraced his steps through the labyrinth, following the thread that had led him into the depths of darkness and back into the light. At the labyrinth's entrance, bathed once more in the silvery glow of the moon, Theseus emerged victorious. The sword, now stained with the blood of the Minotaur, gleamed in the torchlight, a symbol of his triumph and the resilience of the human spirit. And as he stood before Ariadne, whose eyes shone with a mixture of relief and pride, Theseus knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they returned to Athens, a city that rejoiced at the sight of its champion, whose bravery had defied the odds and whose heart had guided him through the labyrinth's treacherous corridors. And as Theseus held Ariadne close, their hands intertwined like the threads of destiny itself, he vowed to honor the trust she had placed in him, to build a future where courage and compassion reigned supreme, and where the echoes of their journey through the labyrinth would serve as a testament to the power of hope, love, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. In the heart of ancient Crete, amidst the sprawling palace of Knossos with its labyrinthine corridors that snake beneath the earth, lay the dreaded Labyrinth, a maze of shadows and secrets that housed the monstrous Minotaur. This creature, born of a curse and a symbol of King Minos' wrath, lurked within its dark recesses, a terror that cast a pall of fear over both Athens and Crete. For years, the labyrinth had claimed the lives of Athens' youths, offered as tributes to satisfy the demands of King Minos. Each year, as the sun reached its zenith and the fields of Athens bloomed with the promise of summer, dread settled over the city like a shroud. Mothers wept for their sons, fathers clenched their fists in impotent rage, and siblings whispered prayers to the gods for protection. Yet amidst the sorrow and despair, a hero emerged, a figure whose name echoed through the streets and alleys, whispered in tones of reverence and hope. His name was Theseus, son of Aegeus, and from the moment he volunteered to confront the Minotaur, he became a beacon of courage and determination, a light that pierced the darkness that threatened to engulf his beloved city. With the sword forged of bronze, the gift from Ariadne that gleamed in the torchlight, and the ball of thread wound securely around his wrist, Theseus stood before the labyrinth's yawning entrance. The air was thick with the scent of earth and moss, and the walls loomed tall around him like silent sentinels. His heart, though heavy with the weight of the task ahead, beat with a rhythm that matched the determination burning within his chest. As Theseus ventured into the labyrinth, its corridors stretched endlessly before him, a maze of twists and turns that seemed to shift and change with each step he took. The torch held aloft cast flickering shadows upon the walls, their dancing forms a testament to the ancient secrets that lay buried within the labyrinth's heart. The silence that enveloped him was broken only by the echoes of his own footsteps, a steady cadence that echoed through the labyrinth's corridors like a heartbeat. Each step brought him deeper into the maze, further from the warmth of sunlight and closer to the darkness that awaited him at its core. Time seemed to lose its meaning within the labyrinth's depths, where every corner turned revealed new challenges and dangers. The walls closed in around him, their ancient stones bearing witness to the trials of those who had ventured into the Minotaur's domain before him. Yet with each obstacle he faced, whether it be crumbling passages, treacherous pitfalls, or the eerie howls that echoed through the darkness, Theseus pressed on with a determination that burned brighter than the torch he held aloft. In moments of uncertainty, when the labyrinth seemed poised to ensnare him within its grasp, Theseus found solace in the thread that unwound steadily from the ball around his wrist. Ariadne's gift, delicate yet resilient, served as his guide through the labyrinth's twists and turns, a lifeline that anchored him amidst the chaos and uncertainty. And as he navigated its treacherous corridors, Theseus encountered remnants of those who had come before him, a discarded sandal here, a frayed thread there, a haunting reminder of the peril that awaited him at every turn. Yet with each discovery, he drew strength from the memory of Ariadne's touch, from the hope that burned within his heart, and from the knowledge that his journey held the promise of redemption not just for himself, but for all who had been touched by the labyrinth's cruel embrace. As the hours stretched into eternity and the torch burned low, Theseus felt the presence of the Minotaur, a primal force that reverberated through the very stones beneath his feet. Its roar, a chilling reminder of the creature's hunger and the danger that lurked ahead, echoed through the labyrinth like a thunderclap. Yet Theseus, undeterred by the beast's fury, steeled himself for the confrontation that awaited him. With sword in hand and thread trailing behind him like a silent guardian, Theseus pressed forward, each step a testament to his courage and his unwavering determination to confront the darkness that threatened to consume him. The labyrinth's walls seemed to close in around him, its shadows twisting and shifting with each passing moment, yet he pressed on with a resolve that burned brighter than the torchlight that guided his way. And as he neared the labyrinth's heart, where the Minotaur awaited amidst the darkness and the silence, Theseus felt a surge of adrenaline course through his veins. The scent of sweat mingled with the damp earth, and the echoes of his breath filled the air, a steady rhythm that matched the pounding of his heart. At last, Theseus stood before the creature, a towering beast whose form seemed to meld with the shadows that surrounded it. The Minotaur's eyes, gleaming with a feral hunger and a primal rage, locked with Theseus' own, a silent challenge that spoke of the battle to come. With a cry that echoed through the labyrinth's ancient halls, Theseus lunged forward, his sword flashing in the torchlight as he met the Minotaur head-on. Each blow struck with a ferocity born of desperation and determination, each movement a testament to the courage that burned within his heart. In the heat of battle, Theseus felt Ariadne's presence, a whisper in the back of his mind, a touch upon his shoulder that lent him strength when he needed it most. With each strike of the sword, he fought not just for his own survival, but for the hope of a future where compassion triumphed over cruelty, where love conquered fear, and where the threads of fate wove a tapestry of courage and redemption. And as the final blow fell, the Minotaur lay defeated, a testament to Theseus' courage and the strength of the bond he shared with Ariadne. The labyrinth, once a symbol of fear and despair, now echoed with the triumphant cries of victory, a victory won not just for Athens, but for all who dared to dream of a future free from tyranny and oppression. With the Minotaur vanquished and his mission fulfilled, Theseus retraced his steps through the labyrinth, following the thread that had led him into the depths of darkness and back into the light. The sword, now stained with the blood of the Minotaur, gleamed in the torchlight, a symbol of his triumph and the resilience of the human spirit. At the labyrinth's entrance, bathed once more in the silvery glow of the moon, Theseus emerged victorious. The city of Athens, whose streets had been shrouded in sorrow and despair, now rejoiced at the sight of its champion, a hero whose bravery had defied the odds and whose heart had guided him through the labyrinth's treacherous corridors. And as Theseus stood before Ariadne, their hands intertwined like the threads of destiny itself, he knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they returned to Athens, a city that celebrated their victory, whose walls echoed with tales of courage and hope. And amidst the cheers and the accolades, Theseus vowed to honor the trust Ariadne had placed in him, to build a future where compassion and bravery reigned supreme, and where the echoes of their journey through the labyrinth would serve as a testament to the power of hope, love, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. In the heart of the labyrinth, where shadows danced upon ancient walls and the scent of earth mingled with the tang of sweat, Theseus stood poised for battle. His heart pounded like the rhythmic beating of distant drums, each thud echoing the gravity of the moment, a moment that had brought him face to face with the monstrous Minotaur. From the depths of the labyrinth's twisting corridors emerged the creature, a towering behemoth with the body of a man and the head of a bull, its form shrouded in darkness and menace. Its eyes, glowing with an otherworldly intensity, fixed upon Theseus with a predatory focus that sent a chill down his spine. This was the terror that had haunted Athens for generations, the beast whose hunger for human flesh had claimed countless lives. As Theseus gripped the sword gifted by Ariadne, its weight in his hand a reassuring presence amidst the uncertainty, he felt the weight of the city's hopes and fears resting upon his shoulders. The torchlight flickered, casting dancing shadows upon the labyrinth's walls, a silent witness to the impending clash between man and monster. With a roar that reverberated through the labyrinth's ancient stones, the Minotaur charged, its massive form barreling towards Theseus with a ferocity that spoke of untamed fury. Each thunderous footfall shook the ground beneath Theseus' feet, yet he held his ground with a resolve forged in the fires of determination and fueled by the echoes of Ariadne's faith in him. The battle that ensued was a symphony of steel meeting flesh, of courage clashing with primal instinct. The Minotaur swung its massive fists, its horns gleaming in the dim light as it sought to crush Theseus beneath its brute strength. Yet Theseus, nimble and quick-witted, evaded each blow with the grace of a dancer, his movements a testament to the agility and skill honed through years of training and hardship. With each strike of the sword, Theseus aimed for the creature's vulnerable spots, a strategy born of necessity and fueled by the knowledge that every moment counted in this deadly dance. The blade sliced through the air with a whistle, its edge seeking purchase against the Minotaur's hide. Each impact sent shockwaves through Theseus' arms, yet he pressed on, a relentless force of will determined to vanquish the darkness that threatened to consume him. The Minotaur, its roars reverberating through the labyrinth like thunder, retaliated with a ferocity that spoke of centuries-old rage and anguish. Its horns grazed Theseus' armor, leaving gouges that served as a chilling reminder of the creature's relentless pursuit. Yet Theseus, undeterred by the pain that flared through his body, met the Minotaur's gaze with a steely resolve, a gaze that reflected not just his own courage, but the hopes and dreams of all who had suffered beneath the beast's shadow. In moments of respite, when the clash of steel against flesh briefly subsided, Theseus felt a surge of adrenaline course through his veins. The torchlight danced upon the sweat that trickled down his brow, his breaths coming in ragged gasps as he assessed the battlefield before him. The labyrinth seemed to close in around them, its walls a silent witness to the struggle that raged within its ancient confines. Yet amidst the chaos and the danger, Theseus found strength in the memory of Ariadne's touch, the gentle reassurance of her presence that lingered like a whisper upon the wind. With each heartbeat that thundered in his chest, he drew upon the bond they shared, a bond woven from compassion, courage, and a shared determination to defy the odds. And as the battle reached its crescendo, Theseus seized upon an opportunity, a fleeting moment of vulnerability amidst the Minotaur's relentless onslaught. With a swift and decisive strike, he drove the sword deep into the creature's side, a cry of triumph tearing from his lips as he felt the resistance give way beneath his blade. The Minotaur staggered, its roars echoing through the labyrinth in a haunting lament. Its eyes, once filled with primal rage, now held a glimmer of recognition, a spark of humanity that shone through the beast's monstrous facade. And as Theseus stood before the fallen creature, his chest heaving with exertion and his sword held aloft in triumph, he saw not just a defeated foe, but a symbol of redemption and hope. With a final, ragged breath, the Minotaur succumbed to its wounds, a creature whose reign of terror had come to an end, leaving behind a legacy of fear and suffering. The labyrinth, once a prison of despair, now echoed with the silence of victory, a victory won not just for Theseus, but for all who had dared to dream of a future free from tyranny and oppression. And as Theseus emerged from the labyrinth, bathed in the glow of the torchlight and the echoes of his triumph, he knew that his journey was far from over. The city of Athens awaited his return, a city that celebrated his courage and revered his name. And amidst the cheers and the accolades, Theseus held his head high, his heart swelling with pride and gratitude for the bond he shared with Ariadne and for the hope they had forged together. Together, they would return to Athens, a city whose streets now echoed with tales of bravery and resilience. And as Theseus looked to the future, he knew that their victory would serve as a beacon of light, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, courage and compassion could pave the way to a brighter tomorrow. In the dim light of the labyrinth's depths, where the air was thick with the scent of ancient stone and the shadows whispered secrets of ages long past, Theseus stood over the fallen Minotaur. His chest heaved with exertion, and his hands trembled slightly as he beheld the creature whose monstrous form now lay still at his feet, a testament to his courage, his skill, and the unwavering determination that had driven him through the harrowing battle. The sword, its blade stained with the blood of the Minotaur, felt heavy in Theseus' grip, a weight that mirrored the gravity of the moment. Around him, the labyrinth's corridors stretched endlessly, their twisting paths a labyrinthine puzzle that had tested his resolve and threatened to ensnare him in its depths forever. Yet amidst the shadows and the silence, Theseus found solace in the thread, the slender lifeline that wound around his wrist, a gift from Ariadne that had guided him through the labyrinth's treacherous twists and turns. With a steady hand, Theseus tied one end of the thread to the entrance where he had first ventured into the darkness, securing it with a knot that spoke of determination and resolve. The ball of thread, nestled securely in his palm, served as a silent companion, a reminder of Ariadne's faith in him and a beacon of hope that had illuminated his path through the labyrinth's darkest moments. As Theseus retraced his steps through the labyrinth's winding corridors, the thread unraveled steadily behind him, a fragile yet resilient guide that led him back towards the light. The torchlight flickered, casting dancing shadows upon the stone walls as he followed the path he had forged through courage and perseverance. Each step forward brought him closer to the labyrinth's exit, yet his mind remained tethered to the battle that had unfolded moments before, a battle that had tested not just his strength, but his resolve to protect those he loved and to defy the darkness that threatened to consume him. Memories of the Minotaur's roars echoed through Theseus' mind, a haunting reminder of the creature's ferocity and the peril that had lurked within the labyrinth's depths. Yet with each passing moment, the thread offered reassurance, a silent promise that he was not alone in his journey, that Ariadne's belief in him had been a steadfast anchor amidst the chaos and uncertainty. And as Theseus emerged from the labyrinth's yawning entrance, bathed once more in the glow of the moonlit night, he felt a surge of triumph and relief wash over him. The city of Athens awaited his return, a city that had held its breath in anticipation of his victory over the Minotaur, whose cheers now echoed through its streets like a chorus of gratitude and celebration. With the sword held aloft in a gesture of triumph, Theseus stepped into the embrace of his fellow Athenians, faces familiar and strangers alike, their voices raised in praise and admiration for the hero who had defied the odds and emerged victorious. Yet amidst the jubilation, Theseus' thoughts turned to Ariadne, the princess whose courage and compassion had guided him through the labyrinth's darkest moments, and whose belief in him had fueled his determination to confront the Minotaur. At last, Theseus found Ariadne amidst the throng of well-wishers, a figure whose presence shone like a beacon amidst the revelry. Her eyes, filled with pride and relief, met his own with an unspoken understanding, a shared bond forged through hardship and triumph, and a connection that transcended words. With a smile that spoke volumes of gratitude and admiration, Theseus reached for Ariadne's hand, a gesture of thanks for the thread that had guided him through the labyrinth's depths and back into the light. Their fingers intertwined like the strands of fate itself, their touch a silent testament to the strength of their bond and the hope they had kindled together. And as Theseus stood with Ariadne by his side, their hearts beating in rhythm with the echoes of victory, he knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they would return to Athens, a city whose streets now echoed with tales of bravery and resilience, and where the promise of a brighter future beckoned on the horizon. For Theseus, the victory over the Minotaur was not just a triumph of strength and skill, but a testament to the power of courage, compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. And as he looked to the future, Theseus vowed to honor the trust Ariadne had placed in him, to build a city where bravery was celebrated, where compassion prevailed, and where the echoes of their journey through the labyrinth would serve as a beacon of hope for generations to come. In the aftermath of triumph, when the cheers of Athens still echoed in the air and the scent of victory mingled with the warmth of the sun, Theseus found himself standing amidst a sea of jubilant faces. The city, once shrouded in fear and sorrow, now basked in the glow of celebration, a celebration that honored not just his victory over the Minotaur, but the resilience and courage of its people. Amidst the revelry, Theseus sought out Ariadne, the princess whose bravery and compassion had been a guiding light through the labyrinth's dark passages. Her presence, amidst the throng of well-wishers and admirers, was a beacon of serenity, a calming presence amidst the chaos of celebration. Their eyes met across the crowd, a silent exchange of understanding and gratitude that spoke volumes without the need for words. For Ariadne, whose heart had been touched by Theseus' bravery and whose faith in him had never wavered, the victory was a bittersweet moment, a triumph tinged with the knowledge of what lay ahead. As Theseus approached, a smile graced Ariadne's lips, a smile that held a mixture of pride and melancholy, of joy for Theseus' triumph and sadness for the inevitable parting that loomed on the horizon. She had known from the moment she first handed him the sword and the thread that their paths were intertwined but divergent, that her role in his journey would culminate in this moment of victory. Their hands found each other amidst the crowd, a gesture that spoke of connection and mutual respect, of a bond forged through hardship and shared purpose. For Theseus, Ariadne had been more than a guide through the labyrinth. She had been a source of strength, a voice of reason, and a companion whose belief in him had fueled his determination to confront the Minotaur and protect his people. Yet as the celebrations continued into the night, Theseus sensed the weight of Ariadne's unspoken thoughts, a silent question that lingered between them of what would come next. Would she stay by his side in Athens, her home now as much as his own? Or would she return to Crete, to a life defined by duty and expectation, where her absence would be keenly felt? In moments of quiet amidst the revelry, Theseus and Ariadne found a secluded corner, a brief respite from the clamor of celebration where they could speak without the intrusion of others. The night sky stretched overhead, dotted with stars that seemed to shimmer with the promise of possibilities yet to come. "I cannot thank you enough, Ariadne," Theseus began, his voice soft yet filled with sincerity. "You have been my guiding light through the darkness, my strength when I faltered. Without your bravery and your faith in me, I would not have triumphed over the Minotaur." Ariadne's gaze softened, her fingers tightening around Theseus' hand in a silent reassurance. "It was never just about defeating the Minotaur," she replied, her voice tinged with a mixture of pride and sadness. "It was about reclaiming hope for Athens, about proving that courage and compassion can overcome even the greatest of challenges." Their conversation turned to the future, a future that held uncertainty and possibility in equal measure. Theseus spoke of rebuilding Athens, of honoring those who had been lost to the Minotaur's hunger, and of forging a city where bravery and compassion were celebrated above all else. Ariadne listened, her heart heavy with the weight of decisions yet to be made. "And what of you, Ariadne?" Theseus finally asked, his gaze searching hers for answers. "Will you stay in Athens, where you are celebrated and cherished? Or will you return to Crete, to a life that awaits you with expectations and obligations?" Ariadne's expression softened, her thoughts turning inward as she considered Theseus' question. "My duty lies with Crete," she replied quietly, her voice tinged with regret. "As much as I have come to love Athens, and as grateful as I am for the friendships we have forged, my place is alongside my father, King Minos." Theseus nodded, though his heart ached at the thought of parting ways with Ariadne, a woman whose bravery had touched his soul and whose presence had filled his days with warmth and courage. "I understand," he murmured, though the words carried a weight of sadness. "You will always have a place in Athens, Ariadne. You will always be welcome here." They lingered in the quiet of the night, their hands intertwined as they savored the fleeting moments they had left together. The sounds of celebration drifted through the air, a reminder of the joy that filled the city's streets and squares. Yet for Theseus and Ariadne, their thoughts were consumed by the knowledge that their paths, though intertwined, would soon diverge. As the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of pink and gold, Theseus and Ariadne stood together one last time. Their embrace was tender yet filled with unspoken longing, a silent farewell that spoke of the bond they had shared and the memories they had forged together. And as Ariadne turned to leave, her steps echoing softly against the cobblestones, Theseus watched her silhouette fade into the distance, a figure whose courage and compassion had forever changed his life and the lives of those around him. For Theseus, the victory over the Minotaur had been more than a triumph of strength and skill. It had been a journey of discovery, of courage, and of the enduring power of love and compassion. And as he watched Ariadne disappear from view, her presence lingered like a ghost in the corners of his heart, a reminder of the sacrifices made and the bonds forged in the crucible of adversity. And so, as Theseus stood amidst the cheers of Athens, his heart carried the memory of Ariadne, the princess whose bravery had led him through the labyrinth's darkest passages and whose faith in him had ignited the flame of hope that now burned brightly in the hearts of his people. In the hushed moments before dawn, Athens stirred with an anticipation that hung in the air like a whispered promise. The city, once shrouded in the pall of fear and grief, now stood on the precipice of a new beginning, a beginning heralded by the triumphant return of Theseus, the hero who had dared to defy the monstrous Minotaur and emerge victorious from the labyrinth's depths. From the outskirts to the heart of the city, Athenians gathered beneath the waking sky, their faces turned towards the road that wound its way from the distant horizon. Torchlight flickered in the pre-dawn darkness, casting dancing shadows upon the cobblestones, a silent tribute to the hero whose courage had banished the specter of Crete's dreaded tribute forever. As the first rays of sunlight kissed the rooftops, a murmur of anticipation rippled through the crowd, a wave of excitement that swelled with each passing heartbeat. And then, amidst the sea of eager faces and fluttering banners, he appeared. Theseus, clad in armor that gleamed with the promise of victory, rode at the forefront of the procession, a figure whose presence commanded both reverence and admiration. His brow was furrowed with the weight of responsibility, yet his gaze burned with a fire that spoke of triumph and determination. Behind him trailed the remnants of the Labyrinth, a testament to the trials he had faced and the challenges he had conquered. The sword that had felled the Minotaur rested at his side, its blade a silent witness to the battle that had reshaped the course of Athenian history. As Theseus passed through the city gates, a roar erupted from the gathered crowd, a chorus of cheers and applause that reverberated through the streets like a symphony of gratitude and joy. Athenians young and old, rich and poor, stood shoulder to shoulder, their voices raised in praise of the hero whose bravery had restored hope to their once fearful hearts. The procession wound its way through Athens' labyrinthine streets, each step a testament to the city's resilience and the unity forged in the crucible of adversity. Citizens leaned from windows and balconies, their faces illuminated by smiles that mirrored the sun's radiant ascent, a celebration of Theseus' triumph and the end of an era defined by fear. At last, the procession halted in the city's central square, a bustling hub of activity where the pulse of Athens beat strongest. Here, beneath the watchful gaze of the Acropolis, Theseus dismounted from his steed, his chest swelling with pride as he surveyed the sea of faces that stretched before him. A hush fell over the crowd as Theseus raised his hand, a gesture that spoke of gratitude and humility, of a hero who understood the weight of sacrifice and the power of unity. His voice, clear and unwavering, carried across the square like a clarion call, a call to honor the fallen, to cherish the bonds of kinship, and to embrace the promise of a future free from the shadow of Crete's dreaded tribute. "We stand here today not as conquerors, but as guardians of a new dawn," Theseus proclaimed, his words ringing true in the hearts of all who listened. "Together, we have faced darkness and emerged into the light. Together, we have proven that courage and compassion can vanquish even the greatest of foes." The crowd erupted into applause, a thunderous cacophony of cheers and whistles that echoed through the city streets, a testament to the pride and admiration they felt for their hero. Athenians embraced one another in jubilant celebration, their voices raised in songs of victory and gratitude that soared to the heavens above. As the day wore on and the sun reached its zenith, Athens became a canvas of joy and festivity. Market stalls overflowed with offerings of food and drink, their aromas mingling in the air with the laughter of children and the melodies of musicians. Everywhere Theseus turned, he was greeted with smiles and outstretched hands, a hero whose presence had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who called Athens home. And amidst the revelry, a decree was issued, a decree that marked the end of an era and the dawn of a new age. The Cretan tribute, a burden that had weighed heavily upon Athens for generations, was declared no more, a testament to the city's strength, unity, and unwavering resolve. In the days and weeks that followed, Athens flourished, a city reborn in the aftermath of adversity, its streets alive with the spirit of renewal and possibility. Theseus, now hailed as a hero for the ages, dedicated himself to the task of rebuilding and revitalizing, a task that carried with it the promise of a future where courage and compassion reigned supreme. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting its final rays of golden light upon the city's rooftops, Theseus stood atop the Acropolis, a figure silhouetted against the twilight sky. His gaze spanned the expanse of Athens, his heart swelling with pride for the city and its people, a pride born not just of victory, but of the bonds forged in the crucible of adversity. For Theseus, the triumphant return to Athens was more than a celebration of personal valor, it was a testament to the power of unity, courage, and compassion to overcome even the greatest of challenges. And as he looked to the horizon, where the future awaited with open arms, Theseus vowed to honor the sacrifices made and the lessons learned in the journey that had brought him to this moment of triumph. And so, beneath the stars that twinkled in the night sky like 1,000 watchful eyes, Theseus raised his gaze once more, a silent vow to protect and cherish the city that had become not just his home, but the beating heart of a new era of hope and possibility. In the annals of Athens history, amidst the echoes of triumph and the whispers of legends, there emerged a leader whose name would be etched into the hearts of generations, Theseus, The hero whose courage had vanquished the Minotaur and whose compassion had ignited a spark of hope in the city's darkest hour. As Theseus ascended to rule over Athens, a mantle of responsibility settled upon his broad shoulders, a responsibility not just to govern, but to inspire, protect, and lead. The city, once plagued by the specter of Crete's dreaded tribute, now thrived under his steadfast guidance, a testament to his vision, his determination, and his unwavering commitment to the welfare of his people. Under Theseus' rule, Athens flourished like never before. The scars left by years of fear and hardship began to fade, replaced by the vibrant pulse of a city reborn. Marketplaces bustled with activity, their stalls overflowing with the bounty of land and sea, a testament to the prosperity that Theseus' policies had nurtured. But Theseus' accomplishments extended far beyond the realm of commerce and trade. His leadership was marked by a dedication to justice and fairness, a commitment to ensuring that every citizen, regardless of station or wealth, had a voice in the governance of their city. Laws were enacted to protect the vulnerable and uphold the rights of all, laying the foundation for a society where virtue and integrity thrived. Yet Theseus' rule was not defined solely by the stroke of a pen or the decree of law. It was in his actions, his deeds, and his unwavering belief in the inherent goodness of humanity that Theseus solidified his place as both hero and leader. Time and again, he ventured forth to defend Athens from threats both within and without, his sword a steadfast guardian, his courage an inspiration to all who stood by his side. In times of peace, Theseus turned his attention to the arts and sciences, a patron whose patronage nurtured a flourishing culture of creativity and innovation. Temples rose in honor of the gods, their pillars reaching towards the heavens in reverence and gratitude. Scholars gathered in the city's academies, their minds ablaze with the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, a legacy that would endure long after Theseus' time. But amidst the accolades and the triumphs, Theseus remained humble, a leader who led not with arrogance or ambition, but with a quiet strength and a steadfast resolve. He walked among his people, his presence a source of comfort and reassurance, a reminder that their welfare was his foremost concern. And it was in the quiet moments, away from the pomp and ceremony of public life, that Theseus found solace. He would retreat to the hills overlooking Athens, where the wind whispered through the olive groves and the scent of wildflowers perfumed the air. Here, amidst nature's embrace, Theseus would reflect on the journey that had brought him to this moment, a journey marked by hardship, sacrifice, and triumph. For Theseus knew that true leadership was not measured in riches or conquests, but in the hearts and minds of those he had sworn to protect. It was in the laughter of children playing in the city streets, their faces alight with joy and innocence. It was in the elderly who walked with a renewed sense of dignity and purpose, their wisdom a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as the years passed, Theseus' legacy grew, a legacy built not just on the strength of his sword, but on the compassion and empathy that had guided his every decision. Tales of his bravery and benevolence spread far and wide, carried on the lips of storytellers and poets who sang of his deeds in song and verse. Yet amidst the adulation, Theseus remained grounded, a leader who never forgot the lessons learned in the Labyrinth, where courage had conquered fear and compassion had bridged the divide between friend and foe. His rule was marked by a commitment to unity and inclusivity, a vision of Athens as a city where all were valued, all were heard, and all could aspire to greatness. And so, as Theseus stood atop the Acropolis, his gaze spanning the expanse of Athens below, he knew that his journey was far from over. The city that had once trembled in the shadow of the Minotaur now stood as a beacon of hope and inspiration, a testament to the enduring power of courage, compassion, and the indomitable spirit of its people. For Theseus, the hero who had emerged from the labyrinth's depths, the greatest triumph lay not in the battles won or the challenges overcome, but in the hearts and minds of those who had stood by his side. And as he looked to the horizon, where the sun dipped low in a tapestry of crimson and gold, Theseus knew that the legacy he had forged would endure, a legacy of leadership, of compassion, and of unwavering devotion to the ideals that had guided him from the labyrinth to the throne of Athens. In the tapestry of ancient Greek mythology, few threads are woven as intricately and passionately as the legend of Theseus, the hero whose courage and compassion reshaped the destiny of Athens and left an indelible mark on the annals of history. Theseus' journey from the shores of Troezen to the heart of the labyrinth in Crete was more than a quest for personal glory. It was a testament to the power of bravery, integrity, and unwavering determination to defy the odds and emerge triumphant. His victory over the Minotaur not only liberated Athens from the dreaded tribute to Crete, but also symbolized the triumph of humanity over monstrous adversity. As Theseus ascended to rule over Athens, his actions reverberated far beyond the city's walls, shaping the course of Greek mythology and inspiring countless tales of heroism and virtue. His reign marked a golden age, a time of prosperity, unity, and cultural flourishing that would be remembered and celebrated for centuries to come. Under Theseus' wise governance, Athens blossomed into a beacon of democracy and enlightenment, a city where justice prevailed, knowledge flourished, and the arts thrived. Temples and monuments rose in honor of the gods, their grandeur reflecting the city's newfound glory and prosperity. But perhaps Theseus' greatest legacy lay in the hearts and minds of the Athenian people themselves. His leadership was marked by a commitment to equality and fairness, a vision of a society where every citizen had a voice and a stake in the city's future. Laws were enacted to protect the vulnerable and uphold the rights of all, laying the foundation for a democratic tradition that would endure for millennia. In the realm of Greek mythology, Theseus became more than just a hero. He became a symbol of hope and inspiration, a reminder that courage and compassion could overcome even the greatest of challenges. Tales of his exploits spread far and wide, carried on the lips of storytellers and poets who celebrated his deeds in song and verse. The story of Theseus and the Minotaur became a cornerstone of Greek mythology, a narrative woven with themes of bravery, sacrifice, and the triumph of good over evil. It spoke to the universal human experience of confronting our fears, overcoming obstacles, and emerging stronger and wiser on the other side. In the centuries that followed, Theseus' legend continued to evolve and resonate across cultures and civilizations. His name became synonymous with heroism and leadership, his deeds immortalized in art, literature, and theater. Artists and sculptors captured his likeness in marble and bronze, their creations standing as tributes to his enduring legacy. But perhaps the most profound impact of Theseus' actions lies in the lessons they imparted to future generations. His story serves as a timeless reminder of the power of courage, compassion, and integrity to shape the course of history and inspire individuals to strive for greatness. For Athens, Theseus' legacy endured long after his passing, a legacy of resilience, unity, and unwavering devotion to the ideals that had guided him from the labyrinth to the throne. The city that had once trembled in the shadow of the Minotaur now stood as a testament to the enduring power of human spirit and the transformative impact of leadership driven by virtue and vision. And so, as the sun sets on the horizon, casting its golden light upon the city of Athens, Theseus' legacy shines brightly, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who dare to dream, to defy, and to believe in the power of heroism to change the world. His story is not just a myth, but a testament to the enduring power of human spirit and the indomitable will to overcome adversity and forge a brighter future for generations to come. In the tapestry of human experience, there exists a thread woven with the essence of courage, sacrifice, and the triumph of the human spirit, a thread embodied in the legendary journey of Theseus. His tale, etched in the annals of Greek mythology, resonates across centuries not merely as a story of heroism, but as a profound reflection of our collective journey through life's labyrinthine challenges. Theseus, the valiant son of Aegeus, embarked upon a quest that transcended the boundaries of mortal existence, a quest to confront and conquer the monstrous Minotaur, whose labyrinthine prison held the fate of Athens in its grip. His journey was not just a physical expedition through twisting corridors and perilous encounters, it was a spiritual odyssey that tested the depths of his courage and the clarity of his purpose. At its heart, Theseus' encounter with the Minotaur symbolizes the eternal struggle between light and darkness, good and evil. The Minotaur, a creature born of unnatural origins and imprisoned by its own monstrous nature, represents the challenges and adversities that loom large in our lives, seemingly insurmountable, yet ultimately conquerable through perseverance and resolve. As Theseus descended into the labyrinth's depths, he faced not only physical dangers but also the shadows of his own fears and doubts. Each twist and turn in the labyrinth mirrored the uncertainties of life, where every step forward demanded courage and every decision carried weighty consequences. Yet, armed with a sword of righteousness and guided by the thread of Ariadne's unwavering faith, Theseus pressed on, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The themes woven into Theseus' journey resonate with universal truths that transcend time and culture. Heroism, in its purest form, is not defined by the strength of one's sword or the might of one's arm, but by the courage to confront adversity with integrity and compassion. Theseus exemplified this ethos, embodying the ideals of selflessness and sacrifice as he volunteered to face the Minotaur in place of the doomed Athenian youths. Sacrifice, too, lies at the heart of Theseus' saga, a sacrifice not only of his own safety but of his comfort and certainty. His decision to venture into the labyrinth was a testament to his commitment to the greater good, a willingness to put the needs of others above his own desires. In this act of selflessness, Theseus demonstrated the transformative power of sacrifice, a power that extends beyond individual heroism to shape communities and societies. The Minotaur, with its monstrous visage and insatiable hunger, serves as a potent metaphor for the challenges that each of us must face in our lives. Whether it be personal struggles, societal injustices, or existential crises, we are all confronted with our own Minotaurs, those seemingly unconquerable obstacles that threaten to overwhelm us. Yet, Theseus' triumph over the Minotaur reminds us that even the most daunting challenges can be overcome through courage, perseverance, and a steadfast belief in the inherent goodness of humanity. Beyond the labyrinth's confines, Theseus' journey resonates with enduring significance in the realm of human experience. It speaks to our innate capacity for resilience and renewal, our ability to navigate the complexities of life with grace and determination. His victory over the Minotaur not only liberated Athens from the shackles of fear, but also ignited a spark of hope and inspiration that continues to illuminate the path of generations. In the tapestry of Greek mythology, Theseus stands as a beacon of hope, a hero whose journey embodies the timeless virtues of courage, sacrifice, and the triumph of the human spirit. His legacy endures not only in the stories told and retold, but in the ideals that continue to shape our understanding of what it means to be heroic. As we reflect on Theseus' journey, we are reminded that heroism is not confined to the pages of ancient myths or the annals of history. It is a living, breathing force that resides within each of us. It is the courage to confront our fears, the strength to persevere in the face of adversity, and the compassion to uplift others on their own journeys. The themes of Theseus' saga, heroism, sacrifice, and overcoming monstrous challenges, resonate deeply within our hearts because they speak to the essence of our shared humanity. They remind us that no matter how daunting the labyrinth may seem, there is always a thread of hope to guide us through. And in the end, it is not the darkness of the labyrinth that defines us, but the light of courage and compassion that shines from within. Theseus' journey continues to inspire us to embrace our own heroic potential, to confront our Minotaurs with bravery and conviction, to sacrifice for the greater good, and to emerge victorious with our spirits uplifted and our hearts full of hope. His story is a testament to the enduring power of myth and the transformative impact of storytelling, a legacy that continues to resonate across time and space, weaving its way into the fabric of our shared human experience. In the timeless tapestry of Greek mythology, amidst the tumultuous seas and rugged shores of ancient lands, there are figures whose stories resonate across generations, each woven with the threads of ambition, love, betrayal, and redemption. Among them stand Theseus, Ariadne, King Minos, and King Aegeus, each a fully developed character with motivations and arcs that shape the very fabric of their intertwined destinies. At the heart of this epic saga lies Theseus, a young hero born of Aegeus, king of Athens, and Aethra, daughter of King Pittheus of Troezen. From the moment of his birth, Theseus was destined for greatness, yet his path to heroism was not a straight and untroubled road. His journey was marked by trials that tested his mettle and shaped his character, forging him into the courageous leader Athens would come to revere. Raised in Troezen away from his father's kingdom, Theseus grew to embody the virtues of bravery and compassion instilled by his upbringing. His youthful vigor and sense of justice were evident even in his early encounters, a foreshadowing of the heroic deeds that would define his legacy. King Aegeus, Theseus' father, loomed large in the young hero's life, a figure whose absence cast a shadow over Theseus' early years. Aegeus, burdened by the weight of prophecy and political intrigue, sought an heir to secure Athens' future. His motivations were driven by a desire for stability and continuity, yet his path was fraught with challenges, both external and internal. Aegeus' longing for an heir led him to Aethra, whose union with the Athenian king bore the promise of a successor. However, Aegeus' uncertainty and the machinations of rival factions clouded his judgment, leading to a pivotal moment of deceit and misunderstanding. The fateful encounter with Aethra, under the guise of anonymity, laid the foundation for Theseus' journey, a journey that would ultimately bind father and son in ways neither could foresee. Meanwhile, in the labyrinthine court of Crete, King Minos reigned with an iron fist, a ruler whose thirst for power and dominance extended beyond the boundaries of his island kingdom. Minos' motivations were driven by a desire for supremacy, a desire that led him to lay claim to Athens' tribute of youths, demanding the sacrificial toll that fed the Minotaur, a monstrous offspring of his own unnatural lineage. Minos' rule was marked by cunning and ruthlessness, yet beneath his formidable exterior lay complexities that defied easy categorization. His love for his daughter, Ariadne, tempered his authoritarian tendencies, revealing a softer side to the king, a side that would ultimately shape the course of Theseus' journey and Ariadne's own path to redemption. Ariadne, daughter of King Minos, emerged as a pivotal figure in the labyrinthine drama, a young woman whose compassion and empathy set her apart from the tyranny of her father's court. Her motivations were rooted in a longing for freedom, for herself, for her people, and for the Athenian youths condemned to face the Minotaur's wrath. Ariadne's arc was one of transformation, a journey from naivety to enlightenment, from compliance to defiance, as she navigated the treacherous waters of loyalty and betrayal. Her initial sympathy towards Theseus stemmed from a shared understanding of the injustices perpetuated by her father, a recognition that transcended their differences in station and birth. Ariadne's pivotal role in Theseus' journey was defined by her act of compassion, a gesture that would alter the course of events and set into motion a chain reaction of heroism and sacrifice. As Theseus embarked on his quest to confront the Minotaur, Ariadne's presence loomed large, a beacon of hope amidst the labyrinth's shadows. Her gift of a sword and a ball of thread symbolized more than mere tools of navigation. They represented a bond forged in adversity, a testament to the transformative power of empathy and solidarity. Throughout their journey, Theseus and Ariadne faced trials that tested their resolve and strengthened their bond. Their evolving relationship was marked by moments of vulnerability and courage, a partnership that transcended the boundaries of their respective kingdoms and united them in a common cause. Meanwhile, King Aegeus' arc unfolded in parallel, a father haunted by the specter of prophecy and the uncertainty of Theseus' fate. His motivations shifted from paternal duty to personal redemption as he awaited his son's return, a return that would bring not only relief but also reconciliation. In the aftermath of Theseus' triumph over the Minotaur, the characters' arcs converged in a moment of reckoning and resolution. King Minos, confronted with the consequences of his actions, faced a reckoning of his own, a reckoning that would redefine his legacy and pave the way for Ariadne's newfound freedom. For Theseus and Aegeus, the journey did not end with the slaying of the Minotaur. It marked a new beginning, a journey towards reconciliation and renewal. Theseus' return to Athens heralded a period of prosperity and unity, a testament to the transformative power of heroism and sacrifice. In the annals of Greek mythology, the stories of Theseus, Ariadne, King Minos, and King Aegeus continue to resonate with timeless themes of courage, sacrifice, and the complexities of human nature. Their arcs intersect and intertwine, weaving a tapestry of love and betrayal, redemption and forgiveness, a tapestry that speaks to the enduring power of myth to illuminate the depths of the human experience. As we reflect on their journeys, we are reminded that heroes are not defined by their victories alone, but by the courage and compassion that drive them to confront life's greatest challenges. Theseus, Ariadne, King Minos, and King Aegeus embody the essence of heroism in all its complexity, a testament to the enduring significance of their stories and the timeless truths they reveal about the human condition. In the sun-drenched lands of ancient Greece, where myths and legends intertwine with the heartbeat of history, lie two realms that stir the soul and spark the imagination: Athens, the cradle of democracy and culture, and Crete, the island of mysteries and labyrinthine wonders. Ancient Athens, nestled beneath the watchful gaze of the Acropolis, exudes a vibrancy that transcends mere stone and mortar. Its streets teem with life, merchants hawking their wares, philosophers engaged in spirited debates, and artisans crafting statues that capture the essence of gods and heroes. At its heart beats the pulse of democracy, a revolutionary concept that empowers its citizens to govern themselves and shape their own destinies. The city is a tapestry woven with temples dedicated to Athena, patron goddess of Athens, whose mighty Parthenon stands as a testament to divine protection and mortal ingenuity. The air is thick with the scent of olive groves and the melodies of lyres, symbols of peace and prosperity that adorn the city's landscape and echo through its bustling agora. Yet, beneath this veneer of civic pride and artistic achievement lies a shadow, a looming threat that casts a pall over Athens' future. Across the Aegean Sea lies Crete, a kingdom ruled by the formidable King Minos, a monarch whose power extends far beyond the shores of his island domain. Crete is a land of contrasts, its capital, Knossos, a labyrinthine marvel that defies the laws of architecture and reason. The labyrinth itself is a masterpiece of engineering and myth, a twisting maze of corridors and chambers designed to confound and ensnare those who dare to enter. Its walls echo with the distant roar of the Minotaur, a monstrous abomination born of divine retribution and mortal ambition. The creature's presence looms large over Crete, demanding tribute in the form of Athenian youths, a cruel fate that binds the two cities in a cycle of fear and despair. Within the labyrinth's depths, torchlight flickers against ancient stone, casting eerie shadows that dance like specters in the darkness. Here, Theseus, son of King Aegeus, ventured bravely, a hero driven by duty and compassion to confront the Minotaur and liberate Athens from its annual tribute. His footsteps echoed through the labyrinth, each step a testament to courage and resolve as he navigated its treacherous paths. Meanwhile, in the court of King Minos, intrigue and ambition reign supreme. The palace of Knossos rises like a titan against the azure sky, its walls adorned with frescoes that depict scenes of mythical grandeur and mortal frailty. Here, Ariadne, daughter of King Minos, dwells, a figure of compassion amidst the kingdom's opulence and tyranny. Ariadne's character is woven with threads of empathy and defiance, a young woman who sees beyond the labyrinth's walls to the suffering inflicted upon Athens. Her heart aches for the doomed youths who are sacrificed to satisfy her father's thirst for power, a sacrifice that stains Crete's legacy with blood and sorrow. In the labyrinth, Theseus' encounter with the Minotaur is a clash of titans, a battle that reverberates with the echoes of myth and mortality. The creature's monstrous form emerges from the shadows, its roars shaking the very foundations of the maze. Yet, Theseus stands undaunted, his sword gleaming in the dim light as he faces the beast with courage born of duty and determination. Their battle is a symphony of steel and sinew, a dance of life and death that echoes through the labyrinth's corridors. Each strike and parry is a testament to Theseus' skill and resolve, his heart pounding with adrenaline as he seeks to end the Minotaur's reign of terror once and for all. And then, in a moment of triumph and tragedy, Theseus emerges victorious, the Minotaur's lifeblood staining the labyrinth's floor as its monstrous form collapses in defeat. The hero's breath comes in ragged gasps, his hands trembling with exhaustion and relief as he surveys the aftermath of his ordeal. But the labyrinth is not merely a physical construct, it is a metaphor for the complexities of human nature and the labyrinthine paths we all must navigate in our lives. It represents the darkness within us and the challenges we face in our quest for enlightenment and redemption. As Theseus emerges from the labyrinth's depths, his victory resonates beyond the confines of myth and legend. It speaks to the triumph of courage over fear, compassion over cruelty, and hope over despair. His journey is a testament to the enduring power of myth to illuminate the human experience and inspire generations to come. In the aftermath of Theseus' triumph, Athens rejoices, a city liberated from the shadow of the Minotaur and united in celebration of its hero's bravery. The Acropolis gleams in the golden light of dawn, its marble columns a testament to the enduring spirit of democracy and the resilience of the human spirit. Across the Aegean Sea, Crete reflects on the lessons learned from its darkest chapter, a kingdom scarred by the legacy of its rulers' ambition and the sacrifices made in the name of power. King Minos contemplates the consequences of his actions, a ruler haunted by the echoes of his own hubris and the price paid by his people. And amidst it all, Theseus and Ariadne stand as symbols of hope and redemption, a hero and heroine whose paths intertwined amidst the labyrinth's shadows. Their story is a reminder that even in the face of monstrous challenges, courage and compassion can light the way forward and forge a brighter future for all. As the sun sets over Athens and Crete, casting its golden light across the Aegean Sea, the tale of Theseus, Ariadne, King Minos, and King Aegeus endures, a timeless narrative of heroism, sacrifice, and the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the most daunting of obstacles. In the ancient tapestry of myths and legends, there are threads that weave together stories of bravery, destiny, sacrifice, and the indomitable human spirit, themes that resonate across cultures and generations, speaking to the timeless essence of what it means to be human. Imagine a world where heroes are forged in the crucible of adversity, where every act of courage echoes through the annals of history. It is a world where destiny looms large, a force that shapes the lives of mortals and immortals alike, guiding them towards moments of profound significance and transformation. At the heart of these stories stands Theseus, a young hero whose journey epitomizes the bravery and resilience of the human spirit. From his humble beginnings in treason to his ascent as the savior of Athens, Theseus' path was marked by trials that tested his mettle and forged his character. Bravery, in Theseus' tale, is not merely the absence of fear but the willingness to confront it head-on, to stand against the monstrous Minotaur in the heart of the labyrinth, armed with nothing but a sword and a thread. It is the courage to defy the odds and challenge fate itself, driven by a sense of duty and compassion for his fellow Athenians. Destiny, too, plays a pivotal role in Theseus' journey, a thread woven by the gods and goddesses who shaped the mortal realm from their celestial abode. From the prophecy foretelling his parentage to the trials that await him in Crete, Theseus is inexorably drawn towards his fate, a fate that intertwines with the fate of Athens and the Minotaur alike. Sacrifice is another theme that echoes through the labyrinth's corridors, a sacrifice demanded by King Minos and endured by the Athenian youths who journeyed to Crete year after year. It is a testament to the depths of human suffering and the lengths to which individuals will go for the greater good, a sacrifice that Theseus seeks to end through his heroic quest. Yet, amidst the darkness and despair, shines the beacon of the human spirit, a spirit that refuses to be cowed by adversity and hardship. It is a spirit that finds strength in unity, as Theseus allies himself with Ariadne and finds solace in her compassion. Together, they navigate the labyrinth's twists and turns, guided by the thread that Ariadne provides, a symbol of hope and perseverance in the face of daunting challenges. The Minotaur, too, embodies themes of destiny and the human spirit, a creature cursed by its lineage and trapped within the labyrinth's confines. Its monstrous form belies a tragic existence, a reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the price paid for power. As Theseus confronts the Minotaur in a battle that echoes through myth and memory, the themes of bravery and sacrifice reach their zenith. Each blow struck and parry evaded is a testament to Theseus' courage and determination, a hero who refuses to back down in the face of overwhelming odds. In the aftermath of his victory, Theseus emerges not only as a hero but as a symbol of hope and resilience for Athens and beyond. His triumph over the Minotaur marks a turning point, a moment of reckoning that heralds the end of Crete's tyranny and the liberation of Athens from its annual tribute. But the story does not end with Theseus' return to Athens. It continues in the aftermath of his victory, as he assumes his rightful place as a leader and protector of his people. His rule is marked by accomplishments that solidify his legacy, a legacy built on courage, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to justice. Throughout it all, the enduring themes of bravery, destiny, sacrifice, and the human spirit resonate with timeless significance. They remind us that heroes are not born but forged through adversity, that destiny is shaped by the choices we make and the challenges we overcome. These themes transcend the boundaries of myth and legend, speaking to the universal truths of the human experience. They inspire us to confront our own fears and obstacles with courage and resilience, knowing that within each of us lies the power to overcome even the most daunting of odds. As we reflect on Theseus' journey and the themes that define it, we are reminded of the enduring power of storytelling to touch hearts and minds across generations. These stories, with their tales of bravery and sacrifice, remind us of our shared humanity and the limitless potential of the human spirit to triumph over adversity. In the end, Theseus' tale is more than a myth. It is a testament to the power of hope, courage, and the indomitable human spirit to shape our destinies and inspire future generations to dream, dare, and defy the odds.